The following program is brought to you by Naleo TV, the people's platform.
Aloha and welcome to The Art of Painting with Rockwood. I'm Rockwood. So on today's show, what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little fun. I'm going to do a Humuhumunukunukuapua and a couple of butterfly fish. Stay tuned. All right, as I said, this is what we're doing today, a Humuhumunukunukuapua and a couple of butterfly fish right here. You can see I've already outlined them with the chalk pencil, and let's get started. As always, I'm going to use my trusty filbert brush. It's my favorite absolute brush. So we're going to start, because I did the background, and you can see I've got the white under there, so I got to cover that all up. So we're just going to throw some white down here. Get a nice good layer here. Now if you notice, I'm pushing this down to get that nice line. I'll do that again so you can see it. But see, if I literally just put a little paint down there and push that down, a little bit of pressure and just draw it down, gives me that real nice line right there without having to line it. Because I'm using the filbert brush, what I'm going to do right now is see how his tail comes to a point right there? So I'm literally going to turn that on its side, and I'm going to put that right in there like that and do the same thing. Push and pull. Get a nice point. Doing the same thing right there, but I'm going sideways with it. Once you understand how your brushes work, you can do all this kind of fun manipulation stuff. This is how I'm able to paint quickly. A lot of the stuff I do for customers, I have to get it done quickly because I don't want them to change their mind. I'm just going to go around the eyes so I know where it is. I don't know how close you can get on this, but I got that little tiny V happening right there for his mouth. And this is going to be a little exaggerated fin right here. And as always, I have my reference right here on my tablet. So I'm going to mix just a little bit of Payne's Gray and put a shadow on here, because if you'll remember in past episodes, I talk about white is never pure white. As long as that white is still wet, I can get this nice shadowy color with the Payne's Gray down here. Oh, yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that Payne's Gray again. Where I put that little tiny V, I'm going to come in here sideways and just put that little hint of a mouth right there. Clean my brush, and then I'm going to pull that down a little bit. Yeah, that looks cool. Now, I'm going to take my liner brush, a little bit of my flow. You know how I use my flow. So what I should do is I should get a picture of Flo from Progressive and put her on that. My buddies have a restaurant in town, and they have ice cube with an ice button. They got iced tea for the ice. It's the coolest thing. Some of you know what I'm talking about. So. All right, that looks cool there. Now we're going to go in with the Mars Black, which is a solid black. I could probably use the Mars Black to do all that gray shading in there, but it would take a lot more effort to do it. So this way here, I just go straight to the black and get it done. That looks great. not going to do it exactly like the fish in the picture because it actually looks like he's nodding off a little bit. His eye looks sleepy. We don't want that. You know what? I'm going to do emphasis on that mouth because I like that thing. There we go. Yeah. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take my orangey looking yellow. I'm going to go up here in the corner of this. The tail is all yellow. Thin off the bulk of that. Go in here and blend it in. There is an ever slight yellow, a bright yellow. So now we're going to go back to the liner brush. And we're going to put just like that. And I just washed out the black, so now I gotta go back and get a little bit more because I missed this. See how it got wet right there? Watch me pick it all up right there. That's what happens if you get too much water on the brush. Big black dot right there. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to take the Payne's Gray and mix a little bit of white so I can get a nice gray. this goes. You'll notice I'm freehanding this, so I recommend that if you're going to do this, you might want to know where all that stuff goes. This. So I made that line with the Payne's gray and a little bit of white. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pull that soft like that. White's dry, so I'll put a little bit more white on here. These fish are really a lot of fun because there's so many different butterfly fish in the ocean, and they're all unique and fun, and their markings are just fun to paint. Ah, there goes water again. See how the water eats away at the paint right there? So we'll go back and fix that. We'll let it dry a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of white down here. So when I pull these other lines down here, I'll have something to blend it into. And I want to come up. I don't know what happened to that one. It looked like it disappeared. Grab a little bit of brown, because these actually Turn the liner brush slightly on its side and just put little tiny put a little emphasis on this fin here. There we go. That was good. Now I got to put one more thing. Because I pulled that little tail up there at the top with the white, but it's actually and there we have that. That fish is done. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to do my humuhumu because I'm just excited to do that one. If you can do it, it's good to divide things by shape. So like around his mouth, there was 2 different shapes. So I just created that with the brush stroke so I know where I'm going with it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take another person. Let's try this one here. There is a little bit of pink right around his mouth. So we're just going to take my round brush. Too much water. Get that mouth in there where I want it. That looks cool. Now there is a little bit of blue right around this beak-like. Yeah, see that nice shape in the mouth right there? See how I'm pulling that into the white to blend it, and then I'll go back down. Let's let that dry for a little bit. Putting the white base down here primarily because my yellows are more translucent than they are opaque. So my white is opaque, so in order to make the yellow opaque, I got to put a white base down. If you've never seen these guys in the wild, they swim. This back fin does this weird looking thing like this. It's really, really pretty. Now this is more of a pinstriping brush. It's a little bit longer, so it helps me go further distance with the color. And it helps me get right into those small spaces. The yellow to just get it in there just a little bit. Real subtle right there. That looks good. It's not really a shark fin, but it does look like one, doesn't it? Put too much paint down here, so what I'm doing is I'm pulling it off. Just use the paintbrush, it'll come right off. Alright, so now a little... What I'm doing is I'm painting in sections. So I don't want to paint everything all at once, so... That's what I call my pin. It's a pinstriping brush. It's not actually a pinstripe brush, but for this kind of thing here, because I am a pinstripe artist as well, and this works really good for what I need to do here. Use the blue from the background of the water around his eye because it blends in really nice and it'll give me that nice highlight. Notice how I don't need to put white under the black because the black is very opaque. So. There was a small fin right in this here area. Now, I'm going to put a little bit more emphasis on this side fin, just because it's in the photograph, you can't really see it. That looks cool. And grab the yellow. What you want is you want it to look like all these stripes and everything were put over the top of the color. Oh man, that looks really cool. See the definition in that? Now we're going to take the bright yellow. And then the bottom yellow too. What's real weird is there's lots of different humuhumus out there. This just happens to be my favorite. And if I'm going to paint it, I'll paint the one I like. You can see why I like using that brush, because it works really good. And that is my Humuhumunukunukuapua. Cool? Yeah. Now, to offset this painting, we're going to do another butterfly fish, but he's going to be swimming away. Now we're going to do the same thing with the shade, except this one is going to be a little bit darker here because he's swimming away from us. I don't know why I did that, because that's not the fin that I want. So I'm going to erase that just by putting a little water on the brush and pushing it up into the white. You can see that I just erased that little boo-boo, because the fin I want is right there. Maybe that's why that fish is leaving. Okay, so now let's bring that black back in here. You're probably wondering, do I talk to myself while I'm doing this when the camera's not here? I do. I don't teach me how to do it while I'm doing it, but I do talk to myself. All right, so now let's create the detail that tells us that this fish is swimming away from us. I don't know if you can see it, but there's just that little bit where I went over with that. So I'm going to take that out. Yellow's still a little wet right there, so. And with this brush, it comes to a nice point, so I can really get in there and get that tight detail. That is cool. There's a bit. Oops. This is why I always keep a cup of clean water. Go in and just take that little boo-boo out right there. What I did was I stuck my finger in the yellow and it's still a little wet. So you can just erase whatever's not good. Always keep your paper towels handy so you can get them, just in case. All right, so one last thing we have to do. If you've ever watched my show, you know. And there you have it. One finished painting. All right, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and figure out what we're going to do next time. Aloha.